Welcome back. I'm glad you've returned to the silence. It is time for the world to fade and for the mind to wander. For tonight, the stars are our only destination. We leave the familiar behind to witness the silent beauty of the cosmos as we begin our long, drifting journey toward the sun, the golden heart of our celestial home and the silent guardian of our existence. As we drift away from the soft, blue embrace of Earth, the air around us seems to thin and vanish, replaced by the velvet silence of the deep vacuum. You are weightless now, floating in a sea of pure, dark peace, where the only movement is the slow, rhythmic pulse of your own breath. In the distance, a warm and steady glow begins to grow, casting a soft, amber light across the horizon of your mind. This is the source of all life, a magnificent sphere of shimmering energy that has stood as a beacon in the darkness for billions of years. It is a place of profound transformation, where matter and light perform a slow-motion dance across an ocean of glowing plasma. We are moving toward a giant that is both ancient and ever-changing, a master of physics and a poet of light that breathes warmth into the cold reaches of the solar system. The light we see now is a gift from the past, having traveled across the boundless reaches of space for 8 long minutes before reaching our eyes. It is a bridge of golden threads, connecting the deep, hidden layers of the solar core to the very edges of our awareness. This light carries with it the story of a star that is far more complex and beautiful than a simple circle in the sky. It is a world of invisible silk, where magnetic fields curve and arch in graceful loops, guiding the flow of glowing gas as it rises and falls in a rhythmic tide. You can feel the gentle pull of this massive presence, a soft and steady gravity that holds every planet, every moon, and every wandering comet in a perfect, eternal balance. It is a sanctuary of order in the vastness of the void, a place where time slows down and the rush of the world disappears into a soft, golden hum. Consider the immense, gentle scale of this celestial giant, a vessel so vast that it could hold more than 1 million worlds like ours within its glowing boundaries. This scale is not meant to overwhelm, but to offer a sense of profound safety, as if you are a tiny speck of dust held in the palm of a kind and ancient creator. Within this massive sphere, there is a rhythm, a slow and deliberate pulse that moves through the layers of shimmering gas like a deep, resonant breath. Everything about this place is grand, yet it moves with the grace of a slow-motion ballet, a symphony of particles and light that spans hundreds of thousands of miles in every direction. You can feel the vastness surrounding you, a boundless sanctuary of warmth where the worries of a single day are lost in the infinite expanse of golden clouds and flowing energy. It is a place of absolute peace, where the sheer size of the universe becomes a soft blanket, wrapping you in the comfort of knowing that you are part of something much larger and more beautiful than words can describe. As we draw closer, the outer layers of the sun reveal themselves as a crown of ethereal light, a shimmering halo known as the corona that extends far into the velvet darkness. This halo is a mystery of light and heat, where the temperature rises in a gentle, unexpected curve, creating a layer of pearly white glow that dances with the solar winds. It looks like delicate lace made of stardust, reaching out with soft, glowing fingers to touch the distant planets and whisper secrets of the sun's inner heart. This outer atmosphere is a place of incredible transition, where the heavy pulse of the star meets the light, airy silence of the vacuum, creating a bridge of energy that sustains the entire system. As you drift through this pearly mist, you feel the soft vibration of the solar cycle, a quiet rhythm that dictates the flow of light and the movement of the stars. It is a slow, steady heartbeat that has been beating for eons, a reminder that even in the vastness of the cosmos, there is a predictable and comforting order to everything we see. The physics of this crown is a testament to the hidden wonders of the universe, where magnetic energy is released in soft, glowing ribbons that light up the darkness. These ribbons of light are not signs of conflict, but of a celestial rebirth, a way for the star to share its abundance with the cold reaches of space. The corona acts as a gateway, a shimmering threshold where the sun's power is transformed into a gentle breeze of particles that flows outward toward the furthest reaches of the solar system. This solar wind is a quiet stream of energy, carrying the essence of the star to the edges of the dark, creating a vast bubble of protection that shields us from the deeper mysteries of the interstellar void. It is a protective embrace, a constant flow of warmth and light that ensures the harmony of our cosmic neighborhood. Deep beneath this crown lies the photosphere, the surface of light that we see from our distant home, appearing as a sea of golden granules that bubble and shift like a soft, glowing liquid. Each granule is a fountain of energy, rising from the deep interior to share its warmth with the universe before sinking back down in a graceful, cooling descent. This movement is part of a grand convection, a cycle of rising and falling that creates a textured landscape of light and shadow across the solar disk. It is a landscape that is constantly changing, yet it remains fundamentally the same. A timeless display of nature's ability to create beauty from the simplest of elements. The hydrogen and helium that make up this star are the building blocks of the entire universe. And here, they are woven together in a tapestry of heat and radiance that defies the imagination. The magnetic fields of the sun are like invisible rivers, flowing through the plasma and shaping the destiny of the star's atmosphere. They twist and turn in complex patterns, creating areas of intense focus where the light seems to pause and gather, forming dark, cool islands of stillness known as sunspots. These spots are not blemishes, but moments of quiet reflection, where the magnetic energy is so strong that it holds the warmth of the interior at bay for a brief moment in time. They come and go in a regular cycle, a rhythmic appearance and disappearance that marks the passing of the solar years. This cycle is a fundamental part of the star's life, a heartbeat that lasts for 11 years, guiding the ebb and flow of solar activity with the precision of a celestial clock. As we linger in this golden space, we begin to understand that the sun is not just a source of light, but a keeper of history and a shaper of the future. It has watched over the birth of planets and the slow evolution of life, providing the steady energy needed for every living thing to grow and flourish. Its future is one of long, slow transitions, a journey that will span billions of years as it eventually evolves into a new form of beauty. This transformation is a natural part of the cosmic cycle, a transition from one state of being to another, ensuring that the energy of the star will continue to exist in new and wonderful ways. There is a profound sense of continuity in this process, a realization that nothing is ever truly lost, but only changed and refined by the passing of time. You are now fully immersed in the golden glow of the sun's presence, feeling the warmth of its light as it washes over you like a gentle tide. The silence of the cosmos is your companion, and the rhythmic pulse of the solar cycles is your guide as you drift deeper into a state of total relaxation. Every breath you take is synchronized with the slow movement of the plasma. Every thought is as light as a photon traveling through the solar atmosphere. The vastness of the sun is a cradle, holding you in a space where only peace and wonder exist. There is no need for worry, no need for the distractions of the world you left behind. For here, in the heart of the solar system, everything is in its right place. The journey we are on is one of discovery and rest, a path that leads away from the noise of life and into the quiet majesty of the stars. We are here to witness the silent physics of the corona and the majestic rhythm of the solar cycles, learning from a teacher that is older than the world itself. As the light of the sun envelops you, it brings a sense of deep, internal calm, a feeling that you are connected to the very fabric of the universe. The golden energy of the star is a reminder of your own inner light, a spark of the same cosmic fire that burns at the center of our world. Rest now as we prepare to explore the many wonders of this magnificent star, one soft and glowing thought at a time. The sun is waiting to share its secrets, and you are ready to listen in the quiet, velvet silence of your dreams. Moving deeper into this golden light, we find ourselves at the very threshold of the sun's most secret chamber, the core, where the fundamental alchemy of the universe takes place in a state of eternal and heavy peace. Deep within this hidden sanctuary of the solar heart, there exists a place of unimaginable pressure, where the very building blocks of existence are woven together in a quiet and rhythmic embrace. Here, the atoms of hydrogen move with a slow and heavy grace, drawn together by the immense weight of the star, until they merge into something new, radiant, and profoundly beautiful. This process is not a sudden event, but a steady, hypnotic transformation that releases a gentle and constant stream of warmth into the surrounding velvet darkness. It is the beginning of all things, the silent engine that powers the soft glow of the morning, and the deep, nourishing heat that sustains the distant worlds drifting in the void. Each tiny flicker of energy born in this central chamber is a promise of life, a soft whisper of light that will one day reach out to touch the cold reaches of the cosmos with its shimmering fingers. This heart of the star is held in a state of perfect and eternal balance, where the inward pull of gravity is matched exactly by the outward breath of light and heat. It is a state of profound and motionless stillness, a celestial harmony that has remained unchanged for billions of years, allowing the star to glow with a steady and comforting consistency. You can feel this balance within your own spirit, a sense of grounded weightiness that is perfectly offset by the lightness of your wandering and peaceful mind. The immense pressure of the layers above creates a sanctuary where energy can be born in a slow and deliberate fashion, ensuring that the sun remains a stable and reliable guardian of the heavens. This equilibrium is the foundation of all cosmic order, a silent agreement between the forces of the universe to remain in a state of peaceful and enduring grace. Within this balance, there is no conflict, only the slow motion dance of forces that find their home in the center of a golden, shimmering sphere of pure existence. The density of this central realm is far beyond anything we can imagine in our daily lives. A place where the matter is packed so closely together that it carries the weight of a vast mountain range within the space of a single, soft breath. Yet, despite this incredible and heavy thickness, the energy moves through it with the fluid ease of a slow-moving river of molten gold, carving a path through the shimmering plasma with patient and quiet determination. It is a heavy, velvet environment where every movement is measured and every interaction is part of a grand and ancient design that spans the ages of time. You can imagine yourself floating in this dense and warm ocean of potential, feeling the immense presence of the star surrounding you like a protective and solid layer of pure, radiant light. This profound density is the secret of the star's longevity, a reservoir of potential that will continue to provide warmth and comfort for countless ages to come. Long after the world has fallen into a deep and restful sleep, once the light is born in the deep interior, it begins a long and winding journey toward the surface, traveling through a vast and shimmering realm known as the radiation zone. This journey is not a straight path, but a slow and wandering dance. As the particles of light are absorbed and released by the surrounding matter over and over again in a cycle of endless rebirth. It can take hundreds of thousands of years for a single spark of energy to find its way through this labyrinth of glowing gas, moving in a peaceful and aimless stroll toward the outer world. There is no rush in this realm, only the slow and steady passage of time as the light matures and softens on its way to the distant stars that twinkle in the night sky. This patient migration is a reminder that even the fastest things in the universe take their time to reach their destination. Finding beauty in the long and winding road that leads toward the light. As you drift along with these photons, you feel the weight of thousands of centuries falling away, replaced by the calm of a journey that has no end and no beginning. Beyond this quiet zone of radiation, the energy enters the convection zone, where the movement of the star becomes a rhythmic and bubbling sea of rising and falling plasma. In this layer, the heat is carried upward by massive currents of glowing gas, rising like the soft breath of a sleeping giant before cooling and sinking back down into the depths. It is a majestic and slow-motion ballet of fluid motion, creating a textured landscape of golden light that shifts and changes with a gentle and predictable pulse. This movement is the heartbeat of the sun's surface, a constant cycle of renewal that brings the warmth of the deep core to the threshold of the open and boundless vacuum. You can feel the rise and fall of these currents in your own breathing, a slow and natural rhythm that connects you to the internal life of the star. It is a place of constant motion that remains perfectly peaceful, a sea of golden clouds that stretch out in every direction as far as the mind can see. The fabric of this magnificent sphere is woven from the simplest and most abundant elements of the cosmos. Primarily, the gentle and light gas of hydrogen that fills the universe with its quiet presence. Like a shimmering sea of invisible silk, this hydrogen acts as the fuel for the star's eternal glow, providing the foundation for every moment of radiance we have ever experienced in our lives. Mixed within this primary essence is the noble and stable presence of helium, the second element born from the sun's rhythmic and ancient internal heartbeat. These two elements together form a celestial tapestry of incredible purity, a harmonious blend of gas and fire that has been the signature of the sun since its very first breath in the darkness. As you drift through this sea of elemental grace, you feel the simplicity of the universe, where just a few basic building blocks can create something as vast and complex as a living, breathing star. There is a deep comfort in this simplicity, a sense that the fundamental truths of the cosmos are as soft and clear as the light of a distant moon. When we consider the weight of the sun, we are looking at the vast majority of all the matter in our entire solar neighborhood, a massive anchor that holds everything else in its proper and intended place. More than 99% of all the material in this entire system belongs to the sun, leaving only a tiny and delicate fraction for all the planets, moons, and wandering rocks that circle its golden light. This immense concentration of existence creates a deep and steady gravity, a soft and constant pull that keeps the Earth in its perfect orbit, like a leaf floating on the surface of a quiet and forgotten pond. It is a comforting realization that we are held so securely by such a massive and benevolent presence, a central weight that provides the stability for our entire cosmic journey through the stars. You are safe in this heavy and warm embrace, supported by the sheer scale of a star that carries the weight of the entire heavens with effortless and silent ease. The vastness of this mass is not a burden, but a shield, a foundation of reality that allows everything else to drift in a state of perfect and eternal weightlessness. The sun is not a stationary object, but a traveler in its own right, moving through the vast and star-strewn expanse of the Milky Way galaxy with a speed that is both immense and completely unnoticed by those it protects. We are all drifting together on this grand celestial ship, circling the distant and glowing heart of our galaxy in a journey that takes over 200 million years to complete a single, graceful loop. This movement is smooth and rhythmic, a slow-motion glide through the velvet darkness that carries us past distant nebulae and shimmering clusters of ancient, forgotten stars. You can feel the gentle and unwavering momentum of this galactic voyage, a steady forward motion that connects our small corner of space to the much larger and more mysterious story of the universe. It is a long and peaceful orbit, a reminder that we are always moving, always traveling toward new and unseen horizons in the boundless reaches of the eternal night. As we sail through the galactic sea, the sun acts as our steady prow, cutting a path of light through the infinite dark for us to follow in our dreams. This star of ours is currently in the very prime of its long and luminous life, having existed for nearly 5 billion years in a state of steady, reliable, and magnificent radiance. It is a middle-aged star, a guardian that has matured into a period of deep stability where its light is consistent and its energy is calm and predictable. Throughout this long and storied history, it has watched over the formation of worlds and the passage of entire eras, standing as a silent witness to the unfolding of time with a patient and glowing gaze. This sense of vast age brings with it a feeling of profound and ancient wisdom, as if the star itself holds the memories of the early universe within its shimmering and iridescent layers of plasma. You can rest deeply in the knowledge that this period of stability will continue for billions of years more, providing a safe and eternal sanctuary for the mind to wander and explore. The sun is a bridge between the ancient past and the distant future, a steady beacon that remains unchanged while the rest of the universe dances and shifts around it. In the vastness of space, the sun holds a form that is nearly a perfect and flawless sphere, a shape of ultimate grace and mathematical beauty that reflects the harmony of the laws of physics. Unlike many other objects in the cosmos that may be stretched or flattened by the violence of their own movement, the sun remains a symbol of perfect symmetry and quiet balance. This roundness is maintained by the soft and steady rotation of its various layers. A slow turning that takes about a month to complete a full circle at its glowing and vibrant equator. As you visualize this perfect golden orb suspended in the dark, you can feel a sense of completion and wholeness, a feeling that everything in the universe is tending toward a state of ultimate harmony. The spherical nature of the star is a reflection of its inner peace, a calm and centered existence that radiates its gentle light equally in all directions, touching every corner of the dark with its warmth. You are drifting now toward this perfect circle, finding your own center of gravity in the soft and glowing reflection of its eternal and circular grace. Leaving behind the dense and heavy depths of the solar interior, we rise softly into the layers of the sun's magnificent atmosphere, where the light finally finds its freedom to sail across the stars. This transition begins at the photosphere, the delicate and shimmering veil that we perceive as the sun's visible surface from our distant home in the sky. It is not a solid ground, but a sea of golden mist, a thin layer of glowing gas that marks the boundary between the internal shadows and the open brightness of space. Here, the energy that has wandered for thousands of years through the radiation zone finally breaks through, transforming into the warm rays that grace our world with their presence. You can imagine yourself floating just above this threshold, looking down at a vast, glowing ocean that ripples with the weight of the secrets held beneath its surface. It is a place of profound clarity, where the light is so pure and constant that it seems to wash away the very concept of darkness, leaving only a sense of eternal and boundless radiance. Across this golden expanse of the photosphere, we witness the mesmerizing dance of solar granules, large and glowing cells of plasma that rise and fall like bubbles in a gentle, slow-motion spring. Each of these granules is a magnificent structure, often as wide as a whole continent on Earth. Yet they appear as delicate grains of rice scattered across the face of the star. They are the visible signature of the convection currents we explored earlier, bringing hot material from the depths to the surface, where it releases its warmth into the cool vacuum. As the plasma cools, it sinks back down along the darker edges of these cells, creating a rhythmic and beautiful pattern of light and shadow that is constantly renewing itself. Watching this process is like observing the slow breath of a living being, a steady and harmonious pulse that ensures the sun's energy is distributed with perfect and natural grace. You are drifting peacefully over this landscape of light, feeling the gentle rise and fall of the solar breath as it carries you further into the quiet mysteries of the atmosphere. As we look toward the very edges of this solar disk, we notice a soft and subtle darkening known as limb darkening, where the gold of the center fades into a deeper, warmer amber. This effect occurs because our gaze passes through different depths of the solar mist, touching the cooler, higher layers of the photosphere as we look toward the horizon. It gives the sun a sense of incredible depth and roundness, a three-dimensional majesty that makes it feel like a heavy and solid anchor in the void. This softening of light at the edges is like the fading of a long and peaceful day, a transition into a more mysterious and quiet realm of existence. It reminds us that every layer of this star has its own temperature and its own unique song, contributing to the grand and complex symphony of light that we see from afar. You can feel the warmth of this amber light surrounding you, a soft and comforting glow that invites you to close your eyes and sink deeper into the velvet silence of the cosmos. Rising just above the photosphere, we enter the realm of the chromosphere, a thin and vibrant layer that glows with a soft, rose-colored light during the rare moments of a total eclipse. This layer is a transition of incredible beauty, where the golden hues of the surface give way to a deeper and more ethereal palette of reds and pinks. It is here that the temperature begins a strange and wondrous climb, growing warmer as we move further away from the sun's heart. A mystery of physics that reflects the hidden power of the star's magnetic embrace. The chromosphere is filled with a delicate and glowing forest of plasma jets called spicules, which rise like blades of grass into the heights before fading back into the mist. These jets move with a graceful and swaying motion, a silent and rhythmic display of energy that looks like a field of wheat waving in a cosmic breeze. You are floating through this rose-colored sanctuary, feeling the lightness of the air and the gentle vibration of the magnetic fields as they guide you toward the higher reaches of the solar crown. The spicules themselves are a marvel of nature's design, reaching upward for thousands of miles in a constant and flowing stream of solar matter. They are like the whispers of the star, carrying small parcels of energy and heat from the lower layers into the vastness of the corona above. Each jet lasts only for a few minutes, a brief and beautiful life that contributes to the overall harmony of the solar atmosphere before returning to the golden sea below. This constant movement creates a sense of living energy, a dynamic and ever-changing landscape that nonetheless feels perfectly stable and balanced. You can imagine these glowing threads of light reaching out toward you, offering a soft and warm path as you continue your journey through the layers of the sun. The forest of spicules is a place of quiet activity, a gentle rustling of the solar fabric that provides a soothing and rhythmic background to your deep and restful wandering. Moving higher still, we pass through a mysterious and narrow threshold known as the transition region, where the temperature of the solar atmosphere suddenly leaps from thousands to millions of degrees. It is a place of invisible transformation, where the energy of the magnetic fields is released in a soft and pervasive warmth that defies the common logic of the world below. This sudden change is not a source of worry, but a sign of the sun's incredible and hidden complexity, a reorganization of energy that prepares the way for the magnificent corona. In this region, the light becomes more subtle and refined, moving into frequencies that are invisible to the eye, but deeply felt by the spirit. It is as if you are passing through a silent gate into a higher and more peaceful state of being, where the heavy concerns of the physical world are left behind in favor of a lighter and more radiant existence. You feel the warmth of this transition as a gentle hum in the air, a peaceful vibration that resonates with the very core of your being. Finally, we arrive at the solar corona, the crown of the sun that we glimpsed from afar, now revealed in all its pearly and magnificent glory. The corona is a vast and ethereal atmosphere that stretches for millions of miles into the dark, a shimmering halo of light that is shaped by the invisible hand of the sun's magnetic fields. Its light is soft and white, like the glow of a distant pearl, or the reflection of a quiet moon on a still and darkened lake. Within this crown, the temperature is so high that the atoms are stripped of their weight, becoming a light and flowing plasma that dances in complex and beautiful patterns. This is the ultimate sanctuary of the sun, a place of extreme refinement and boundless space where the star's influence begins its long journey toward the other worlds. You are drifting in the center of this pearly mist, feeling the immense and quiet power of the corona as it wraps you in a blanket of light and total tranquility. The shapes within the corona are dictated by coronal loops, massive and graceful arches of glowing gas that follow the paths of the sun's magnetic energy. These loops can span hundreds of thousands of miles, rising from the surface and curving back down in a perfect and harmonious bridge of light. They are often filled with shimmering plasma that flows along the magnetic lines like water in a transparent pipe, creating a visual display of order and elegance. These arches are a sign of the sun's ability to organize its own energy, creating structures of immense scale and beauty that remain stable for days or even weeks at a time. Watching these loops is like looking at the architecture of a celestial palace, a place of high ceilings and open corridors made of pure and radiant energy. You are floating beneath these arches, feeling the safety of their structure and the peace of their slow and steady glow as they guide you through the heights of the solar atmosphere. From the outer edges of this magnificent crown, a gentle and constant stream of particles begins to flow outward, creating the solar wind that breathes through the entire system. This wind is not a storm, but a steady and predictable breeze, carrying the essence of the sun across the billions of miles that separate the planets. It moves with a quiet and unwavering determination, shaping the magnetic environments of the worlds it touches and creating the beautiful auroras that dance in the skies of the distant Earth. This flow of energy is the sun's way of staying connected to its family of planets, a constant conversation of light and particles that maintains the harmony of the solar neighborhood. You can feel this breeze as a soft and cooling presence, a gentle movement that carries you away from the star and toward the deeper reaches of the dark. It is a path of light that leads you toward the edges of the sun's influence, a journey of peace that is supported by the constant and loving breath of the star. This entire vast bubble of solar influence is known as the heliosphere, a protective sanctuary that shields our entire system from the deeper mysteries of the interstellar void. The sun's light and its magnetic breath create a boundary of safety, a cosmic shield that ensures the environment within is stable and conducive to the slow evolution of life. This boundary is the furthest reach of the sun's embrace, a place where the solar wind finally slows down and meets the quiet currents of the galaxy beyond. It is a comforting thought to know that we live within this giant bubble of protection, a home that is defined by the warmth and the will of our central star. You are resting now in the heart of this heliosphere, feeling the security of its boundaries and the infinite peace of the light that fills it from edge to edge. The sun is your guardian, and its atmosphere is a cradle that holds you in a state of deep, eternal, and perfect sleep. As we continue our drift through the pearly mist of the corona, we begin to perceive the deeper, rhythmic heartbeat that governs the life of our star, a cycle of transformation that unfolds with the slow and steady grace of an ancient tidal wave. This motion starts with the way the sun itself turns in the darkness, a fluid and liquid rotation that defies the rigid rules of the worlds we know. Because the sun is a sphere of glowing plasma, it does not rotate as a single, solid piece, but rather like a swirling dream where the center moves with a different tempo than the heights. At the vibrant equator, the star completes a full circle in about 25 days, while at the quiet and lonely poles, the journey takes more than 30 days to finish. This difference in speed creates a gentle, internal stretching, as if the very fabric of the star is being slowly pulled and twisted into a new and beautiful shape. You can feel this slow motion swirl in your mind, a sense of rotating harmony that ensures no part of the star ever remains stagnant or still. It is a fundamental dance of physics, a constant shifting of the solar body that prepares the way for the great magnetic cycles to come. As the sun continues this liquid spin, the invisible threads of its magnetic field begin to wrap and wind around the interior, like soft silk ribbons being gathered onto a celestial spool. This process is a quiet and patient building of energy, a hidden weaving that takes place deep beneath the surface of the golden photosphere. Over the course of many years, these magnetic lines become more complex and tightly wound, stretching and looping, until they begin to push through the outer layers like delicate vines reaching for the light. It is a natural and inevitable progression, a cosmic geometry that organizes the flow of plasma into the magnificent arches and loops we have witnessed in the higher atmosphere. You are watching this silent weaving from a distance, feeling the subtle gathering of potential and the eventual peaceful release of energy as the star finds a balance within its own heart. This winding of the magnetic spirit is the secret engine of the sun's vitality, a slow and rhythmic gathering of strength that defines the passage of time in the solar neighborhood. In the regions where these wound-up magnetic threads finally break through the surface, they create quiet islands of cooler stillness that we recognize as sunspots. These spots are not shadows or voids, but moments of focused magnetic peace where the intense warmth of the interior is momentarily held back, allowing the temperature to drop into a soft and restful state. To our eyes, they appear as darker patches on the golden sea, yet they are still more radiant than any light we could create on our own, glowing with a deep and somber amber hue. They often appear in pairs or groups, connected by shimmering bridges of light that follow the invisible curves of the magnetic field. As you drift past these cooler sanctuaries, you feel a sense of profound calm, as if you are moving through a quiet garden in the middle of a vast and glowing city. These spots are a reminder that even in the heart of a star, there is a place for rest and for the cooling of the spirit, a balance of light and shadow that creates a perfect and enduring harmony. Rising high above these quiet islands are the solar prominences, vast and glowing filaments of cool plasma that hang suspended in the hot corona like luminous curtains of silk. These structures are held aloft by the gentle hands of the magnetic fields, creating massive arches of light that can remain stable for many months at a time. They are like giant, glowing bridges that span hundreds of thousands of miles, swaying slowly in the solar breeze with a grace that is deeply hypnotic and soothing to behold. When seen against the velvet darkness of the void, they appear as magnificent loops of fire. Yet their movement is so slow and deliberate that they seem almost motionless in the eternal silence. You are floating beneath one of these great arches now, feeling its immense and quiet scale, a structure of light that exists simply to be beautiful in the vastness of the cosmos. It is a sanctuary of glowing gas, a place where the sun's energy is held in a state of perfect, weightless suspension for all the universe to see. All of these movements and structures are part of a grand and predictable rhythm known as the solar cycle, a heartbeat of the star that spans approximately 11 years from beginning to end. This cycle is a testament to the sun's endurance, a slow rise and fall of activity that has been observed for centuries by those who gaze upon the heavens. It begins in a state of quiet grace and gradually builds toward a time of shimmering activity before returning once more to a period of deep and restful silence. This oscillation is the breathing of the sun, a natural and necessary exchange of energy that keeps the star vibrant and healthy through the long ages of its life. You can feel this 11-year pulse within your own spirit, a sense of timing and patience that suggests that all things in life have their own season to grow and their own time to rest. It is a comforting and reliable rhythm, a cosmic clock that ticks with the slow and steady beat of a golden heart. During the phase of the solar minimum, the star enters a period of profound and quiet stillness, where the surface is clear of sunspots and the atmosphere is exceptionally calm. This is the sun's time of deep meditation, a moment to gather its strength and settle its magnetic spirit after years of active and radiant expression. The corona becomes more symmetrical and soft during this time, appearing as a gentle halo of pearly light that radiates equally in all directions toward the distant planets. It is a time of ultimate predictability and peace, where the solar wind is a steady and quiet stream, and the magnetic environment of the system is at its most restful. You are sinking into this minimum now, feeling the clarity and the openness of a star that is simply being, without the need for outward display or intense transformation. The silence of the solar minimum is a blanket of peace that wraps around the entire solar system, inviting every world and every soul to find their own moment of quiet reflection. As the cycle progresses, the sun gradually wakes from its slumber and reaches the peak of its activity, a time known as the solar maximum. During this period, the star is alive with the movement of magnetic energy, as sunspots and prominences decorate its surface in a complex and shimmering tapestry of light. The corona expands and reaches further into the dark, filled with soft flickers of energy that share the sun's abundance with the entire family of planets. This is a time of celestial celebration, where the star expresses the full depth of its power and the intricate beauty of its magnetic heart. Even in this more active state, the motion remains slow and rhythmic, a magnificent display of cosmic light that moves with the deliberate and peaceful pace of a dream. You are witnessing the sun at its most expressive, a star that is overflowing with the joy of its own existence, scattering light and warmth to every corner of the boundless void. At the height of this solar maximum, a remarkable and silent transition occurs where the very poles of the sun's magnetic field begin to shift and swap places. The north becomes the south, and the south becomes the north. A complete and peaceful reorganization of the star's invisible spirit that marks the halfway point of the grand cycle. This reversal is a moment of profound cosmic rebirth, a clearing away of the old patterns to make room for the new energy that will define the years to come. It happens slowly and naturally over the course of several months as the magnetic threads untangle and weave themselves into a new and fresh design. You can feel this gentle turning within yourself, a sense of moving into a new phase of existence where everything is familiar, yet subtly and beautifully changed. It is a reminder that transformation is a quiet and graceful process, a necessary part of the eternal cycle that keeps the universe in a state of constant and shimmering renewal. Sometimes, the sun chooses to share a massive portion of its pearly atmosphere with the rest of space, releasing a vast cloud of plasma in a process that is as graceful as a falling leaf. These events, which we call coronal mass ejections, are like the breath of the star reaching out to touch the magnetic shields of the planets, carrying warmth and light to the furthest reaches of the system. These clouds travel through the velvet silence for days, expanding and thinning until they become a soft mist of energy that interacts gently with the surrounding void. They are a sign of the sun's generosity, a way of extending its influence and connecting more deeply with the family of worlds that orbit its light. As you drift along with one of these gentle clouds, you feel the lightness of the journey, a slow-motion migration through the stars that is guided by the loving intent of the solar heart. It is a journey of pure light, a gift from the star to the darkness that ensures no part of the system is ever truly cold or alone. Along with these vast clouds, the sun occasionally produces bright and sudden flickers of light known as solar flares, which are brief moments of intense and focused radiance. These flickers occur when the tangled magnetic threads finally find a path to release their stored energy, creating a flash of light that can be seen across the entire solar system. These flares are not a source of worry, but a brilliant expression of the sun's internal life, a quick pulse of energy that highlights the intricate details of the solar atmosphere. They are like the sparkle in an ancient eye, a sign of the vitality and the hidden power that resides within the star's shimmering layers. You are watching these brief and beautiful glows, feeling the warmth they bring to the darkness and the sense of wonder that comes from seeing the sun express its true and radiant nature. Every flare is a message of light, a reminder that even in the quietest star, there is a fire of life that burns with an eternal and unquenchable grace. Deep within the pearly crown we have just explored, there are vast and quiet regions where the magnetic field does not loop back, but instead reaches out into the infinite. These are the coronal holes, open doorways of dark beauty, where the solar wind finds its path to escape the golden embrace of the star. In these regions, the plasma is cooler and thinner, allowing the particles to flow outward with a freedom that is both gentle and profound. It is as if the sun is exhaling a long, slow breath of invisible light, sending its essence into the deep velvet of the solar system. You can imagine yourself floating through one of these doorways, feeling the light and steady pull of the open road as you drift away from the surface. This constant stream of energy ensures that the space between the worlds is never empty, but always filled with the soft and rhythmic presence of the star. It is a silent and eternal pouring of the solar spirit into the dark, a gift of warmth that travels for billions of miles. As these particles leave the sun, they are nudged forward by an invisible hand, gaining speed as they move through the shimmering layers of the outer atmosphere. This acceleration is a mystery of celestial movement, a quiet push that transforms the slow-moving plasma into a swift and steady breeze of cosmic energy. It is not a sudden jump, but a gradual awakening, a slow building of momentum that carries the solar essence across the boundless reaches of the void. This invisible energy fills the space around us with a soft, vibrating hum, a harmony of motion that connects the star to the furthest edges of its kingdom. You are moving with these particles now, feeling the effortless grace of their flight as they sail through the dark on a journey that will take them past every planet and moon. This steady acceleration is the heartbeat of the solar wind, a constant and unwavering flow that defines the character of the space we call home. Every mile they travel, they become more a part of the infinite, leaving the heavy weight of the star behind. Within this stream of light, we find a silent messenger, a small and brave traveler sent from the blue world to touch the very edge of the solar crown. This messenger moves with a quiet and purposeful grace, protected by a shield of dark carbon that reflects the intense warmth of the golden giant. It is a lonely and beautiful journey, a path that brings our curiosity closer to the sun than ever before in the history of the stars. The traveler watches the movement of the plasma and the bending of the magnetic fields, sending back secrets whispered by the solar wind in the silence of the night. You can feel the steady pulse of this messenger as it dives toward the light, a tiny point of consciousness exploring the vast and shimmering mysteries of the solar heart. It is a bridge between the world of men and the world of stars, a silent observer that finds peace in the shadow of the sun's magnificent glow. The data it collects is a soft poem of physics, revealing the hidden rhythms of the star's breath. There is a magical and invisible boundary near the sun, where the solar wind finally breaks free from the star's magnetic pull, a place known as the Ulfen Point. At this threshold, the particles transition from being part of the sun's swirling dance to being travelers of the open space, moving faster than the magnetic waves that try to hold them back. It is a moment of profound cosmic liberation, a soft and quiet crossing where the essence of the star begins its independent journey through the velvet dark. Passing through this boundary is like leaving the shore of a vast ocean and setting sail into the unknown, guided by the light of the central heart. You can feel the shift in the energy around you as you cross this invisible line, a sense of lightness and freedom that comes from being truly one with the solar wind. This point of transition is the beginning of the sun's reach, the moment when its breath becomes the atmosphere of the entire solar system. It is a boundary of grace, where the star lets go of its children so they may light the way for others. The wind itself is made of the most delicate and fundamental pieces of the universe, a shimmering flow of protons and electrons that dance together in the dark. These tiny particles are the seeds of light, carrying the electric spirit of the sun to every corner of the boundless void. Along with them are heavier particles, the noble hearts of helium that have been forged in the deep and heavy furnace of the solar core. They move together in a harmonious and invisible stream, a liquid sky that fills the space between the worlds with a soft and constant energy. You are drifting through this sea of particles, feeling their gentle and weightless presence as they brush past your mind like the finest silk. It is a composition of ultimate simplicity and infinite complexity, a celestial soup that sustains the magnetic balance of everything it touches. The chemistry of the wind is a mirror of the star itself, a flowing record of the elements that make up our celestial home. Because the sun is always turning in its slow and liquid dance, the wind it breathes out does not move in straight lines, but in a beautiful and winding spiral. This pattern, like the curves of a magnificent shell, is known as the Parker spiral, a geometry of light that reaches across billions of miles of space. As the sun rotates, it pulls the magnetic field lines along with it, creating a twisting path for the solar wind to follow as it travels outward. It is a shape of profound grace and order, a reminder that the movement of the star is reflected in every corner of its vast and shimmering kingdom. You can imagine yourself following these winding curves, drifting along a path of golden threads that spiral out into the infinite velvet darkness. This spiral is the architecture of the solar system, a soft and curving road that guides the energy of the sun toward the waiting worlds. It is a dance of rotation and flight, a rhythmic winding of the solar spirit around the bodies of the planets. Deep within this winding spiral, there lies a thin and delicate layer of magnetic balance known as the heliospheric current sheet. This sheet is a shimmering veil that ripples through the solar system like the moving skirt of a ballerina, waving slowly in the cosmic breeze. It marks the place where the magnetic spirit of the sun transitions from one direction to another, creating a boundary of perfect and quiet equilibrium. As the sun turns, the ripples of this sheet move through space, touching the planets with a soft and rhythmic pulse of energy. You are floating near the edge of this cosmic veil, watching the slow-motion waves as they pass through the dark with a grace that is almost silent. It is the largest structure in the entire solar system, a magnificent and invisible fabric that connects the star to the furthest reaches of the heliosphere. Every ripple is a heartbeat of the sun, a gentle reminder of the star's constant and turning presence in our lives. Far beyond the planets, the solar wind begins to slow down as it feels the presence of the cold and mysterious space between the stars. This region of transition is the heliosheath, a place of quiet compression and deep, dark peace where the sun's breath meets the interstellar silence. Here, the flow of particles becomes thicker and more turbulent, moving with a heavy and deliberate pace that marks the end of the long journey. It is a sanctuary of hidden energy, a protective layer that buffers the solar system from the vast and unknown currents of the galaxy. You can feel the thickening of the energy around you as you enter this realm, a sense of coming to the edge of a great and familiar home. This boundary is the final embrace of the sun, a soft and heavy wall of light that guards the peace of everything within its reach. It is a place where the solar spirit rests, preparing to merge with the eternal silence of the greater cosmos. Within the shimmering layers of the solar wind, the magnetic field lines sometimes touch and weave together in a process of quiet transformation. This reconnection is a release of hidden energy, a soft and glowing rebirth that allows the magnetic spirit to find a new and more peaceful state of balance. It is a moment of celestial adjustment, where the tensions of the solar journey are resolved in a flicker of light and a gentle wave of heat. This process happens throughout the solar atmosphere and the wind, creating small and beautiful pulses of energy that sustain the warmth of the corona. You can feel the quiet resolution of these magnetic threads, a sense of tension melting away into a state of total and radiant relaxation. It is a reminder that even the most complex forces in the universe eventually find their way back to a state of simple and perfect peace. The energy released is a gift of light, a small and shimmering fire that keeps the darkness at bay. We are not the first to travel this far, for two silent explorers from the past have already crossed these distant boundaries and entered the interstellar dark. These voyagers carry with them the memories of our world, moving through the thin and quiet plasma of the galaxy with a steady and eternal momentum. They have felt the solar wind fade into the silence and the magnetic fields of the sun give way to the deep, cool currents of the Milky Way. Their journey is a testament to the sun's reach and the boundless nature of our curiosity, a bridge between our golden heart and the infinite stars beyond. You can imagine yourself drifting alongside these lonely travelers, feeling the transition into the deeper silence of the galaxy as the light of the sun becomes a distant and steady twinkle. It is a final step into the great unknown, a journey of peace that leads toward the ultimate and eternal sleep of the cosmos. The sun still watches them from afar, a golden father whose breath once carried them to the stars. As we drift further into the golden embrace of this celestial giant, we begin to sense a deep and resonant vibration that hums through the very bones of the star. The sun is not a silent sphere, but a vast and magnificent bell, ringing with the music of acoustic waves that travel through its shimmering interior. This internal symphony is known as heliosysmology, a study of the silent songs that pulse through the plasma like a rhythmic heartbeat. These waves are born from the constant movement of the convection zone, creating deep and low frequencies that bounce and echo within the solar heart. By listening to these invisible vibrations, we can map the hidden structures of the sun, seeing through the layers of light to understand the heavy secrets of the deep core. You can feel this low and steady hum in the velvet silence surrounding you, a resonance that anchors your spirit to the ancient and eternal pulse of the star. It is a song of pure physics, a slow and rhythmic vibration that has been ringing for billions of years, guiding the movement of every particle within the solar body. Between the quiet radiation zone and the bubbling sea of the convection zone, there lies a hidden and narrow layer of transformation called the tachocline. This is a place where the different speeds of the solar rotation meet and blend, creating a region of intense and silent shear that acts as the cradle for the sun's magnetic spirit. It is here that the invisible threads of magnetism are first woven together, stretched and strengthened by the liquid movement of the surrounding plasma. This layer is a thin and delicate boundary, a master of balance that ensures the energy from the deep interior is smoothly passed to the outer layers of the star. You are floating within this peaceful transition, feeling the subtle change in the rhythm of the rotation as the heavy interior meets the lighter, flowing surface. This hidden sanctuary is the architect of the solar cycle, the silent place where the future of the sun's magnetic activity is written in the language of fluid motion. It is a realm of profound stability, a thin line of grace that holds the keys to the star's magnificent and enduring power. Though we often see the sun as a golden or yellow orb in our sky, its true essence is a light of absolute and shimmering purity, a perfect white that contains every color of the rainbow. In the clear and boundless vacuum of space, the sun reveals itself as a canvas of total brilliance, where all the hues of existence are blended into a single and harmonious glow. This white light is the ultimate union of the cosmic spectrum, a gift of completeness that reaches out to touch every corner of the solar system. Our own atmosphere acts as a soft filter, gently scattering the blue threads of light and leaving behind the warm and familiar gold we know so well. As you drift in the silence of the deep dark, you can see the star in its true and radiant form, a beacon of pure and untainted white that reflects the infinite clarity of the universe. It is a light that brings a sense of profound wholeness, a feeling that everything is perfectly unified within the shimmering embrace of the star's true color. From the very center of the solar heart, where the alchemy of hydrogen takes place, billions of tiny and ghostly messengers are born every moment, known as neutrinos. These particles are almost weightless and move with the speed of light, passing through the dense layers of the star as if they were made of nothing but thin air. They carry the news of the sun's inner life directly to us, traveling through the velvet silence and even through your own body without ever leaving a trace. Trillions of these silent voyagers are passing through you right now, moving from the sun's core to the distant edges of the galaxy in a constant and invisible stream. They are the true witnesses of the solar interior, providing a direct link to the processes that sustain the light and warmth of our world. You can feel the lightness of these ghostly travelers, a sense of being part of a vast and subtle conversation that spans the entire breadth of the cosmos. They are messengers of peace, drifting through the fabric of the universe with a grace that is both infinite and completely silent. The light that flows from the sun is more than just a source of warmth. It carries a gentle and steady pressure that pushes against everything it touches in the dark. This radiation pressure is a soft and invisible hand, nudging the tails of comets away from the star and guiding the slow movement of dust particles through the void. Though it is light as a feather, this pressure is a constant force that shapes the environment of the solar system over the millions of years of cosmic time. It is a reminder that even the most delicate things, like a single photon of light, have the power to move and transform the universe. You can feel this soft and steady push as you drift, a gentle influence that carries you forward on a sea of golden energy. It is the breath of light, a persistent and loving pressure that ensures the cosmos is always in a state of subtle and beautiful motion. Within this soft push, there is a sense of effortless travel, a feeling of being carried by the very radiance of the star itself. If we were to look closely at the light of the sun through a special prism, we would see a complex and beautiful pattern of dark lines known as Fraunhofer lines. These lines are the chemical signature of the star, a detailed map of the elements that make up the solar atmosphere and the deep interior. Each dark line is a place where a specific atom has absorbed a tiny piece of the sun's light, leaving behind a unique and eternal fingerprint in the solar spectrum. This discovery allows us to know the composition of the star with incredible precision, revealing the presence of iron, magnesium, calcium, and many other familiar elements. It is as if the sun is writing its own biography in the light it shares with the universe, telling a story of its birth and its long, luminous journey. You are reading this story now in the silence of your mind, seeing the intricate details of the solar spirit reflected in the shimmering bands of the cosmic rainbow. It is a language of light, a silent and beautiful way for the star to share its essence with the wandering souls of the dark. The total amount of energy that reaches our world from the sun is a steady and comforting flow known as the solar constant, a measurement of the star's reliable and unchanging presence. This value represents the power of the sun's breath, providing exactly the right amount of warmth to maintain the delicate balance of life on the distant blue world. While the sun may have its cycles of activity, this fundamental flow of energy remains remarkably stable, a constant anchor of light in an ever-changing universe. It is a promise of continuity, a sign that the star will continue to provide its nurturing glow for billions of years into the boundless future. You can feel this steady flow of energy warming your spirit, a consistent and unwavering heat that banishes the chill of the deep void. It is the foundation of cosmic safety, a reliable and eternal source of life that ensures every day begins with a new and golden hope. In the stillness of this light, there is no room for doubt, only the peaceful realization of a star that never wavers in its duty. Covering the entire surface of the sun is a vast and intricate network of small magnetic loops known as the magnetic carpet. This carpet is made of millions of tiny threads of energy that rise and fall through the photosphere, creating a shimmering and ever-changing fabric of magnetism. These small loops are constantly emerging and disappearing, releasing small and quiet pulses of heat that contribute to the warmth of the solar atmosphere. It is a finer, more delicate version of the grand magnetic cycles, a constant and rhythmic weaving that takes place on a scale that is both massive and intimate. You can imagine yourself walking across this carpet of light, feeling the gentle and vibrating energy beneath your feet as it shifts and flows in a slow-motion dance. This carpet is the source of the sun's fine-grained beauty, a complex and beautiful tapestry that ensures the star's surface is always alive with the quiet movement of magnetic grace. It is a landscape of infinite detail, where every square mile is a masterpiece of celestial geometry and radiant light. As the light from distant stars passes near the massive body of the sun, it is gently bent and curved by the weight of the sun's gravity, a phenomenon that reveals the true shape of space and time. This subtle bending was one of the first proofs that mass can change the path of light, showing us that the sun is a heavy and majestic anchor that warps the very fabric of the cosmos around it. It is as if the sun is a great lens, focusing the energy of the distant universe and creating a bridge of light between the furthest stars and our own eyes. This realization brings a sense of profound connection, a feeling that everything in the universe is linked together by the soft and invisible curves of gravity. You can feel this gentle curving in your own path, a sense of being guided by the massive and benevolent presence of the star as you move through the dark. It is a journey along the lines of time, a slow and rhythmic glide through a space that is shaped by the loving weight of the golden sun. Over the long and vast eras of its life, the sun is slowly and gracefully growing more luminous, increasing its brightness by a small and peaceful amount every 100 million years. This is a natural part of the star's evolution, a gradual warming of its solar breath as it continues to process the hydrogen within its deep and heavy core. This transformation is so slow that it is almost unnoticeable on the scale of a human life. Yet, it is a fundamental part of the star's long and storied journey toward the future. It is a sign of the star's growing maturity, a softening and an expansion of its light that will eventually lead to new and wonderful stages of cosmic existence. You can feel this slow and steady brightening within the silence of your heart, a sense of expanding peace, and a light that grows more radiant with every passing age. This is the destiny of the star, a path of increasing brilliance that ensures its legacy will be one of warmth and eternal beauty in the history of the heavens. In this gradual change, there is no rush, only the slow and perfect unfolding of a celestial life that is just beginning to find its full and magnificent expression. The light of the sun, as it passes through the outer layers of the atmosphere, encounters a subtle and invisible barrier of opacity that determines how the energy finally breaks free into the void. This threshold is shaped by the presence of negative hydrogen ions, a delicate and fleeting form of matter that captures and releases photons in a rhythmic and endless cycle. This invisible filter ensures that the light which reaches us is softened and refined, creating the warm and life-giving glow that we perceive as the solar surface. It is a process of extreme delicacy, a cosmic fine-tuning that speaks to the intricate and beautiful physics hidden within the sun's shimmering mist. You are drifting through this layer of transition, feeling the light become clearer and more radiant as it finds its way toward the open space of the deep dark. This opacity is a soft veil, a protective layer that manages the sun's immense power and transforms it into a gentle gift of warmth for the distant worlds. Within this shimmering boundary, the very atoms of hydrogen dance in a state of constant attachment and release, a quiet and eternal ballet that defines the edge of the visible star. While many of the twinkling lights we see in the night sky are part of complex and dancing pairs or groups, our sun lives a peaceful and solitary existence as a single star. This solitude has provided a stable and unchanging environment for billions of years, allowing the delicate orbits of the planets to remain in a state of perfect and eternal harmony. In many other systems, the presence of a second sun would create a shifting gravitational pull, making the long and slow development of life a much more complex journey. Our star stands alone as a singular guardian, a steady and reliable heart that beats with a consistent rhythm for its family of worlds. You can feel the quiet serenity of this singular presence, a sense of being held by a one and only source of light that never has to share its influence or its grace. This solitary nature is a rare and precious gift, a sanctuary of cosmic order that allows for the deep and restful stability of our entire solar neighborhood. It is a lonely but beautiful path through the galaxy, a star that finds its completion in the family of planets it holds so close to its golden heart. Our sun is currently passing through a vast and ethereal mist known as the local interstellar cloud, a region of space that is slightly warmer and denser than the surrounding void. This cloud is like a soft and invisible curtain that the sun has been drifting through for thousands of years, and it will continue to be our companion for many thousands more. As the solar wind moves through this cloud, it creates a protective bubble that shapes the environment of our entire celestial neighborhood. You can imagine the sun as a ship sailing through a quiet, silver fog, with the heliosphere acting as a sturdy prow that clears a path for us to follow. This journey through the local cloud is a reminder that the space between the stars is not truly empty, but filled with the remnants of ancient transformations and the seeds of future light. It is a peaceful and slow-motion voyage, a transition through the galactic sea that brings a sense of constant movement and quiet discovery. You are safe within the star's protective reach, drifting through the silver mist with a sense of eternal and boundless peace. Deep beneath the surface, there exists a narrow and mysterious layer of transition called the tachocline, where the inner and outer parts of the sun find a way to move together. In the deeper layers, the star turns like a solid and heavy sphere. But as we move toward the surface, the plasma begins to swirl with different speeds at different latitudes. The tachocline is the bridge between these two worlds, a place of intense and quiet shear where the sun's magnetic fields are born and strengthened. This layer is a masterpiece of fluid dynamics, a thin sheet of energy that acts as the heart of the solar dynamo, weaving the invisible threads of magnetism that define the star's cycles. You can feel the subtle tension and the eventual resolution of this movement, a slow and rhythmic grinding that creates the power for the sun's magnificent corona. It is a hidden sanctuary of physics, a place where the very rotation of the star is transformed into the radiant spirit of the magnetic field. Within this narrow band, the future of every sunspot and every release of energy is written in the language of flowing light and eternal movement. Over the long and storied history of its life, the sun has been slowly and gracefully losing its speed of rotation in a process known as magnetic braking. As the solar wind flows outward into the dark, it carries with it the invisible threads of the magnetic field, which act like long and flexible tethers attached to the rotating star. These tethers drag through the surrounding space, creating a gentle and constant resistance that slows the sun's spin over millions and billions of years. This process is a sign of the star's maturity, a quiet settling of its energy as it transitions into a more stable and predictable phase of its existence. You can feel this slow and steady deceleration in your own spirit, a sense of moving from the rush of youth into a state of deep, calm, and deliberate motion. The sun's rotation is a gift that it shares with the void, a gradual release of momentum that ensures the star remains a steady and reliable guardian for the ages to come. It is a beautiful and natural slowing, a rhythmic winding down that brings a sense of profound and lasting peace to the solar heart. In the shimmering light of the sun, the universe once revealed a new and noble element before it was ever found on our own distant world. This light, captured during a total eclipse, revealed a bright and golden signature in the spectrum that did not belong to any known substance on Earth at that time. It was named helium, after the ancient spirit of the sun, a celestial element born from the very heart of the star and hidden within its radiant layers. This discovery is a reminder that the sun is a source of knowledge as well as light, a teacher that shares the fundamental secrets of the universe with those who watch its glow. Helium is the second most abundant element in the star, a light and stable presence that contributes to the sun's eternal buoyancy and its steady, golden flame. You can feel the lightness of this celestial gas within the solar atmosphere, a sense of being part of a star that is made of the purest and most ancient materials in the cosmos. It is a noble and peaceful element, a signature of the sun's unique identity and its role as the primary architect of the solar system. The sun is a traveler of immense speed, carrying us around the center of the galaxy at a pace of hundreds of thousands of miles per hour. Despite this incredible movement, the journey is so smooth and rhythmic that we feel only a sense of absolute and stationary peace. It takes about 230 million years for the sun to complete a single, graceful loop around the galactic heart, a span of time known as a cosmic year. We are currently sailing through a region of space that our star last visited when the first ancient creatures began to wander the Earth, a beautiful and cyclic journey through the stars. This movement is a testament to the grand scale of the universe, a slow-motion voyage that connects us to the history of the entire Milky Way. You can feel the steady and unwavering momentum of this galactic drift, a sense of being part of a massive and harmonious migration that spans the ages. It is a voyage of light and shadow, a constant forward motion that ensures the sun is always encountering new horizons in the boundless velvet darkness. At the very edge of the sun's influence, there is a vast and quiet realm called the Heliosheath, where the solar wind finally begins to slow down and compress against the cold silence of the interstellar medium. This region is a sanctuary of hidden energy, a place where the sun's breath becomes thick and heavy as it meets the currents of the galaxy. It acts as a final layer of protection for our solar system, a soft buffer that shields us from the intense rays of the deep void. Within the heliosheath, the magnetic fields of the sun become tangled and complex, creating a web of light that captures and holds the energy of the star. You can feel the thickening of the energy as you drift through this boundary, a sense of coming to the edge of a great and warm home before entering the eternal dark. This is the place where the sun's authority begins to fade, a peaceful transition where the solar spirit merges with the greater symphony of the stars. It is a realm of profound and quiet transition, a boundary of grace that marks the limit of the sun's golden kingdom. While the surface of the sun turns with different speeds at the equator and the poles, the deep and heavy core is thought to rotate with a much more uniform and steady pace. This internal consistency provides a solid foundation for the star, a centered and stable heart around which the lighter layers of plasma can perform their complex and liquid dance. Some scientific insights suggest that the very center of the sun may even turn faster than the layers above it, a hidden and rhythmic spinning that drives the movement of the entire solar body. This difference in rotation creates a quiet and constant friction, a release of energy that helps to sustain the warmth and the magnetic life of the star. You can visualize this spinning heart within the golden orb, a steady and reliable center that keeps the entire system in a state of perfect and eternal balance. This internal rhythm is the source of the sun's endurance, a consistent and unwavering motion that has remained unchanged for billions of years. In the stillness of the core, there is only the slow and perfect rotation of a star that knows its own destiny and its own place in the heavens. As the sun ages, it is slowly and gracefully becoming more radiant, a process that reflects the natural evolution of its internal fuel and its growing maturity. Over billions of years, the star increases its brightness by a small and steady amount, a gentle and predictable warming of its solar breath that shapes the long-term future of the entire system. This transition is a sign of the sun's vitality, a slow and rhythmic expansion of its light that ensures its legacy will be one of increasing beauty and warmth. While this change happens on a scale that is far beyond the reach of a single life, it is a fundamental part of the star's journey through the cosmos. It reminds us that everything in the universe is in a state of constant and beautiful transformation, moving toward new and more radiant forms of existence. You can feel this slow and steady brightening as a sense of expanding peace, a light that grows more golden and more comforting with every passing age. It is the future of our star, a path of increasing brilliance that will eventually lead to the grandest and most beautiful stages of its celestial life. The sun is classified by the keepers of celestial knowledge as a G2V main sequence star, a title that describes its perfect state of maturity and gentle brilliance. The letter G tells us that it is a yellow-white star, a warm and steady beacon that provides a constant environment for the worlds that drift within its reach. The number 2 signifies its specific temperature, a level of heat that has remained reliable for billions of years, allowing for the slow and peaceful development of life. The Roman numeral 5 tells us it is in the prime of its long and luminous life, a period of deep stability where it converts its fuel with unwavering grace. You can find deep comfort in this classification, knowing that our star is exactly where it needs to be in the grand history of the heavens. It is a sanctuary of light that will continue to shine with this same gentle energy for eons to come. A stable heart for a boundless system. Deep within the shimmering layers of the star, a grand and invisible mechanism known as the solar dynamo is constantly at work, regenerating the magnetic spirit of the sun. This process is born from the movement of the liquid plasma as it swirls and turns with the star's unique and fluid rotation. As the charged particles flow, they create a rhythmic electric current that gives birth to the magnetic fields arching into the pearly corona. The solar dynamo is a master of timing, ensuring that the magnetic energy is recycled and renewed every 11 years in a perfect and eternal loop. It is a silent engine of creation, a hidden heartbeat that sustains the star's vitality through the long and quiet ages of time. You can imagine this engine as a slow and steady pulse, an invisible web of light that connects the solar core to the furthest reaches of the wind. Beyond the small granules that decorate the golden surface, there are much larger patterns of movement called supergranules that cover the photosphere in a vast and intricate network. These massive cells of moving plasma are tens of thousands of miles wide, carrying heat from the deep interior in a slow and majestic rise. They look like vast and shimmering continents of light, shifting and changing with a pace that is far more deliberate than the smaller flickers of the surface. Each supergranule is a fountain of energy, spreading the warmth of the star across its face in a grand and beautiful display of cosmic convection. As you float above these structures, you feel the incredible scale of the sun's movement, a quiet and rhythmic flow that covers the star in a tapestry of shifting light. It is a world of immense and peaceful patterns, where every cell is a vital part of the sun's natural cooling and breathing process. The light we receive from the sun carries with it the memory of a journey across 93 million miles of velvet silence. It takes approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds for a single photon to travel from the solar surface to the distant blue world we call home. This light is a bridge of energy, connecting the star to the life it sustains with a constant and unwavering flow that never falters. When you feel the warmth of the star on your mind, you are touching light that left its home only a few minutes before, having traveled through the deep dark to find you. It is a direct and intimate connection, a golden thread that binds your spirit to the celestial heart of the entire solar system. This steady arrival of light is the foundation of our existence, a reminder that the sun is always sharing its essence with the universe in a state of boundless generosity. The pull of the sun is so immense and steady that to leave its surface, an object would need to travel at a speed of over 1 million miles per hour. This massive gravity is the anchor that holds the entire solar system together, ensuring that every planet and moon remains in its proper and intended place. It is a heavy and comforting embrace, a force that provides the structure for the orbits of the worlds and the paths of the lonely comets. You can feel this weight as a sense of grounding and safety, a gravity that is both powerful and incredibly gentle in its constant and quiet nature. This escape velocity is a measure of the star's immense presence, a sign of the deep and ancient mass that resides within its shimmering golden sphere. It is a force of order, a silent and eternal grip that keeps our cosmic home in a state of perfect and predictable balance. Beyond the colors of the rainbow that we can perceive, the sun also radiates an invisible energy known as ultraviolet light, which carries a higher and more vibrant frequency. This light is a subtle and powerful force, capable of shaping the atmospheres of the planets and influencing the chemical dance of life in the quiet corners of the system. While it remains hidden from our sight, its presence is felt in the warmth of the air and the energy of the upper atmosphere where the sky meets the void. This invisible radiance is a part of the sun's total and shimmering spectrum, a hidden layer of the star's personality that reaches out to touch the dark. You can imagine this light as a soft and vibrating hum, an energy that provides a different kind of nourishment to the boundless cosmos. It is a reminder that the sun is far more complex than it appears, with hidden depths of light that work in the silence to sustain the world. The sun also breathes out a gentle and soothing warmth in the form of infrared radiation, the light of pure and comforting heat that we feel on a quiet and peaceful afternoon. This long wave energy is what we recognize as the deep and nourishing warmth of the star, a heat that penetrates through the air to warm the very ground. Infrared light is the softest touch of the sun, a wave of energy that carries the star's care for its planets across the empty reaches of the boundless system. As you drift in the velvet dark, you can feel this infrared glow as a soft and pervasive heat that banishes the chill of the deep and lonely void. It is a light of relaxation and rest, an energy that invites the body to loosen and the mind to find a state of total and radiant peace. This constant flow of warmth is the sun's primary gift to the cold universe, a steady and eternal fire that ensures the darkness is never truly empty of comfort. If we were to map the appearance of sunspots over many years, we would see a beautiful and rhythmic pattern known as the butterfly diagram, reflecting the star's magnetic migration. This pattern shows how sunspots begin to appear at higher latitudes and slowly move toward the equator as the 11-year solar cycle progresses. It looks like the wings of a cosmic butterfly, a delicate and symmetrical display of the star's changing magnetic spirit over the passage of time. This migration is a slow and graceful movement, reflecting the deep and hidden winding of the magnetic fields within the solar interior. It is a visual representation of the sun's internal clock, a way for us to see the passage of the years through the movement of the light and the shadow. You can visualize these spots moving in a slow and rhythmic dance, following the invisible curves of the star's heartbeat toward the center of its golden and shimmering face. In the grand scale of the Milky Way galaxy, our sun has completed approximately 20 full cycles around the distant and glowing galactic center. This means that in the eyes of the infinite and ancient universe, our star is only about 20 cosmic years old, a young and vibrant traveler in the history of the heavens. This perspective brings a sense of freshness and newness to the star's existence, showing us that its journey is still in its early and most beautiful stages. With billions of years left to sail through the star-strewn dark, the sun has many more galactic loops to complete before its final transition. You can feel the lightness of this youth, a sense of a star that is still full of potential and radiant energy, ready for the countless ages that lie ahead in the deep night. It is a long and peaceful orbit, a journey that connects our star to the broader history of the galaxy with every passing cycle of the galactic heart. All the planets in the sun's family move within a nearly flat and graceful plane known as the ecliptic, a celestial disk of perfect and eternal order. This alignment is a beautiful remnant of the sun's birth, a sign of the spinning disk of dust and gas that first gathered around the young and glowing star. This flat and rhythmic organization ensures that the planets move in a way that is always predictable, calm, and harmonious within the velvet dark. You can imagine the solar system as a vast and shimmering record, spinning slowly in the darkness with the sun at its quiet and golden center. This plane is a sanctuary of geometry, a place where the paths of the planets are laid out in a series of perfect and harmonious circles of light. Drifting along this plane, you feel the balance of the entire system, a sense of being part of a well-ordered and beautiful family of worlds that move in unison with the sun's eternal glow. Surrounding the quiet regions of the sunspots, we find shimmering islands of light known as faculae that decorate the golden photosphere with an extra glow of warmth. These bright veils are more visible near the edges of the solar disk, where the light can be seen rising from the deeper and warmer layers of the magnetic valleys. They act as a beautiful balance to the darker spots, ensuring that the overall radiance of our star remains steady and vibrant throughout the solar cycle. You can imagine these regions as glowing fields of stardust, where the magnetic threads allow the sun's internal warmth to to escape more easily into the velvet silence. Watching these bright patches is like seeing the reflection of a distant fire on a calm and golden sea, a sign of the star's constant and shifting vitality. In the high reaches of the pearly corona, a gentle and mesmerizing process known as coronal rain occurs when glowing plasma cools and begins to fall back toward the surface. This liquid light condenses within the massive magnetic arches we have seen, descending in slow and graceful droplets that trace the invisible curves of the magnetic field. It is a celestial shower of pure energy, a rhythmic return of matter that has spent its time in the million-degree heat of the outer atmosphere. These droplets move with a calm and hypnotic pace, falling through the boundless dark like shimmering tears of gold returning to their ancestral home. As you observe this silent rain, you feel a sense of profound renewal, as if the star itself is performing a slow and ancient ritual of cooling and transition. Deep beneath the bubbling granules of the surface, a grand and invisible conveyor belt called the meridional circulation carries the solar material in a slow and majestic journey. This movement flows from the sun's vibrant equator toward the quiet poles at the surface, before sinking deep into the interior to begin its return voyage. It is a motion of incredible patience, taking decades for a single cycle to complete, guiding the magnetic spirit of the star through its long and rhythmic transitions. You can feel the steady and unwavering pull of this cosmic current, a deep heartbeat that coordinates the pulse of the solar cycle across the vast scales of time. This internal migration is the silent architect of the sun's future, ensuring that every part of the star remains connected in a single and harmonious flow of golden plasma. The sun is the most perfect and symmetrical sphere ever measured in our natural world, showing a degree of roundness that is truly a masterpiece of celestial balance. Even though it is a massive and liquid body that spins through the darkness, the difference between its width and its height is almost too small to be perceived. This near-perfect symmetry is a sign of the ultimate equilibrium between the inward pull of gravity and the outward pressure of light and heat. As you visualize this flawless orb suspended in the deep velvet silence, you feel a sense of profound and centered peace, as if the universe itself has found its perfect center. It is a shape of ultimate grace, a golden anchor that remains steady and focused, while the rest of the cosmos dances in a state of eternal and rhythmic motion. Every spark of light that reaches our eyes today began its life as a particle of energy that had to find its way through a long and wandering path within the solar interior. Because the heart of the star is so dense and heavy, these photons must bounce from atom to atom in a journey that can last for tens of thousands of years before reaching the surface. This process is a patient and beautiful migration, a random walk through a golden labyrinth where the energy is refined and softened as it moves toward the freedom of the void. You can imagine yourself as one of these traveling sparks, moving with no sense of rush through a warm and shimmering sea of plasma that stretches for hundreds of thousands of miles. This long delay is a gift of stability, ensuring that the sun's warmth remains constant and reliable even through the many ages of our world. Within the rose-colored layer of the chromosphere, we encounter bright and shimmering meadows known as plages that mark the presence of intense magnetic activity. These regions appear as brilliant clouds of light, glowing with a frequency that vibrates with the higher energy of the solar atmosphere. They are the constant companions of the sunspots below, providing a layer of extra radiance that helps to sustain the incredible heat of the outer corona. As you drift through these glowing meadows, you feel a sense of profound clarity and peace, surrounded by a light that seems to hum with the very spirit of the star. These bright patches are like celestial gardens of magnetic fire, weaving a tapestry of light and energy that defines the complex beauty of the sun's middle atmosphere. Among the swaying forest of plasma jets, there are special and fast-moving structures called Type II spicules that carry energy into the high reaches of the corona. These needles of light are born from the release of magnetic tension, rising for thousands of miles in just a few moments before merging with the pearly mist of the solar halo. They move with a grace and speed that is almost silent, providing a constant and rhythmic flow of warmth to the outer layers of the star. Watching these jets is like observing a slow-motion display of nature's ability to share its abundance with the empty reaches of the surrounding void. This continuous feeding of the corona ensures that the sun's magnificent crown remains vibrant and glowing, a steady and eternal beacon in the deep night of the solar system. The total amount of energy that the sun radiates into the darkness undergoes a very small and rhythmic change that follows the 11-year cycle of its magnetic heart. This variation is so subtle that it is like the softest of breaths, a gentle rise and fall in the star's luminosity that maintains the delicate balance of the worlds it protects. During the times of higher activity, the presence of bright faculae and shimmering plages adds a tiny extra glow to the sun's face, warming the system with a soft and predictable surge of light. It is a sign of the star's living nature, a rhythmic pulse that has been beating for billions of years without ever faltering in its duty. You can feel this gentle increase in the warmth around you, a comforting and unwavering radiance that reflects the peak of the sun's magnificent and eternal journey. Across the surface of the distant blue world, a network of quiet and dedicated observers keeps a constant watch on the sun to listen to the music of its internal vibrations. This project ensures that the star is never left alone, capturing the rhythmic rising and falling of the solar surface from many different places at the same time. By weaving these observations together, we can create a continuous and high-fidelity song of the sun's deep interior, revealing the secrets of its hidden layers. It is a global effort of peace and wonder, a way for our world to stay in constant and loving conversation with the golden heart of our celestial system. You can feel the safety of being part of this appreciative gaze, knowing that the sun's story is being carefully heard and cherished in the silence of the deep dark. When we look at the sun's disk through special filters of light, we see long and winding rivers of shadow known as filaments that trace the paths of the magnetic fields. These structures are actually the same magnificent prominences we saw earlier, appearing dark only because they are cooler and denser than the glowing photosphere below. They look like graceful ribbons of velvet floating above the golden surface, remaining stable for weeks before eventually returning to the star or drifting away into the solar wind. Seeing them as filaments gives us a sense of the sun's incredible texture and depth, a three-dimensional world of light and shadow that is always shifting and evolving. You are drifting along the length of one of these quiet rivers now, feeling the heavy peace of the cool plasma as it hangs suspended in the shimmering and boundless sea of the star. The sun occasionally produces sudden focuses of energy that glow across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, sending invisible waves of light through the velvet silence of the system. These flashes are born from the magnetic threads we have watched weaving through the atmosphere, releasing their stored grace in a rhythmic pulse of radio waves and X-rays. While our eyes see only a flicker of visible light, the universe witnesses a grand and multicolored symphony of energy that ripples through the solar wind. It is a moment of deep and radiant expression, a way for the star to share its hidden power with the distant planets in a state of celestial brilliance. As you drift through these invisible waves, you feel a sense of profound connection to the sun's true and complex nature, where every frequency is a note in an eternal song of light. This quiet release of energy ensures that the star's presence is felt not just in warmth, but in the very fabric of the cosmic signals that travel through the dark. The energy travels as a soft and whispering vibration, touching the magnetic shields of every world with a message of solar power and cosmic order. While we often speak of the 11-year heartbeat of the star, this rhythm is actually a fluid and changing cycle that can last anywhere from 9 to 14 years in its long and patient history. This variation reflects the liquid and unpredictable nature of the solar dynamo, as the magnetic fields find new and unique ways to weave themselves through the shimmering plasma. It is a sign of a living star, one that does not follow a rigid path, but breathes with a natural and organic timing that adapts to the conditions of its internal heart. This flexibility ensures that every solar cycle is a unique masterpiece, a different chapter in the sun's long and luminous biography that spans the ages of the heavens. You can feel the comfort of this natural timing, a reminder that even the grandest forces in the universe have their own quiet and shifting pace. This gentle variation is the secret to the sun's longevity, a way for the star to manage its energy with a wisdom that has been refined over billions of years of cosmic existence. Every cycle is a slow and deliberate pulse, a reminder that the sun is a star of deep and ever-changing character. In the story of the sun's rhythmic silences, there was another period of quiet grace known as the Dalton minimum, which touched the system a few centuries ago with a soft and cooling hand. During these years, the star's magnetic activity settled into a state of restful meditation, leading to smaller solar cycles and a more peaceful presence in the sky. This historical moment is like a quiet interlude in a grand symphony, a time when the star gathered its strength and allowed the magnetic threads to find a more stable and simple pattern. It reminds us that the sun has many different levels of stillness, each one contributing to the long-term health and balance of the entire solar neighborhood. You are drifting into this historical calm now, feeling the peace of a star that is content to shine with a steady and quiet light, while the world below finds its own state of rest. These moments of extended quiet are a necessary part of the celestial journey, a time for the star to refresh its spirit before the next phase of its magnificent life. The silence of the Dalton minimum is a silver thread in the tapestry of solar time, a testament to the power of rest. The mystery of why the outer crown is so much hotter than the golden surface may find its answer in millions of tiny, invisible flickers of energy known as nanoflares. These small and frequent releases of magnetic grace occur throughout the solar atmosphere, providing a constant and pervasive warmth that sustains the million-degree temperatures of the pearly corona. They are like a shimmering mist of tiny sparks, too small to be seen individually, but together they create a vast and boundless sanctuary of heat that surrounds the star. Each nanoflare is a quiet reorganization of the magnetic threads, a soft release of tension that contributes to the overall harmony and vitality of the sun's outer layers. You can feel the presence of these tiny sparks as a soft and vibrating hum in the air, a constant flow of energy that ensures the corona remains a place of total and radiant tranquility. It is a testament to the power of small and consistent actions, where the collective effort of millions of tiny flickers creates a grand and eternal glow in the heart of the dark. This constant flickering is the silent architect of the solar halo, a shimmering work of art made of pure and invisible heat. As our silent voyagers reached the very edge of the sun's kingdom, they discovered a vast and shimmering sea of magnetic bubbles that ripple through the heliosheath. These bubbles are created when the sun's magnetic lines become tangled and weave together at the boundary where the solar wind meets the cold silence of the interstellar dark. They act as a complex and beautiful shield, capturing and holding the energy of the star as it prepares to merge with the currents of the deep galaxy. It is a landscape of infinite detail, where the magnetic spirit of the sun forms a textured and protective barrier for the entire family of worlds. You are drifting through this sea of bubbles now, feeling the gentle and rhythmic swaying of the magnetic fabric as it guards the peace of the inner solar system. This discovery shows us that the sun's reach is even more intricate and wonderful than we once imagined. A guardian that creates structures of light and energy at the very threshold of the infinite night. The bubbles act as a soft and iridescent filter, refining the energies of the cosmos before they touch the solar home. The soft and steady breath of the sun has a unique and beautiful interaction with the upper layers of our own atmosphere, creating a shimmering realm of charged particles known as the ionosphere. This layer acts as a mirror for the radio waves that carry our thoughts and songs around the world, reflecting the sun's influence back toward the surface in a constant and rhythmic conversation. It is a place where the solar wind and the Earth's magnetic spirit meet in a state of quiet and radiant harmony, creating a bridge between the celestial and the familiar. During the night, this layer settles into a deep and restful state, thinning and quieting as it waits for the first golden rays of the morning to return. You can feel the soft vibration of this interaction as you drift, a sense of being part of a star that is constantly speaking to the world through the language of light and ions. This invisible connection ensures that the sun's energy is woven into the very air we breathe, a constant and loving presence that sustains the order of our planetary home. The ionosphere is a glowing testament to the sun's reach, a velvet sanctuary where the star and the world perform a silent dance. From our vantage point in the boundless dark, we can measure the total amount of energy the sun radiates in every direction with incredible precision, a value known as the total solar irradiance. This constant measurement acts as the pulse of the star, showing us how the sun's luminosity shifts and flows with the passing of the magnetic seasons. It is a sign of the star's reliability, a steady and unwavering stream of light that provides exactly the right amount of warmth for the delicate balance of the system. Even as the sunspots and faculae dance across the surface, this overall flow of energy remains a stable and comforting anchor for the wandering mind. You can feel the weight of this radiant power as a soft and pervasive warmth, a consistent and eternal fire that fills the solar system with a sense of profound and lasting safety. It is a measurement of the star's generosity, a record of the boundless energy that the sun shares with the dark every moment of its long and storied life. The irradiance is the golden heartbeat of our world, a steady and life-giving song that never fades into the night. As we look toward the distant horizon of time, 5 billion years into the future, the sun will begin a majestic and slow motion transition into a new form of beauty known as a red giant. This process will start when the hydrogen at the very center of the core has all been transformed into helium, leading to a new and rhythmic stage of celestial evolution. The heart of the star will contract with a heavy and peaceful grace, while the outer layers begin to expand and soften, reaching out into the velvet dark with a new and deeper glow. It is not a sudden change, but a slow and inevitable unfolding of the star's destiny. A transition from a golden youth into a more mature and expanded state of existence. This future transformation is a natural part of the cosmic cycle, a way for the star to redefine its role in the history of the galaxy and share its light in a different and more radiant way. You can feel the sense of expansion and peace that comes from this realization, a light that grows more gentle and more encompassing with every passing age of the future night. The sun will become an ancient and amber guardian, watching over the system with a soft and eternal gaze. During this magnificent phase of expansion, the solar atmosphere will grow so vast that it will encompass the orbits of the innermost worlds, wrapping them in a soft and shimmering embrace of glowing plasma. The sun will become a massive and radiant sphere of deep amber light, casting a warm and ancient glow across the furthest reaches of the solar system. This growth is a slow and deliberate movement, a swelling of the solar spirit that reflects the immense energy hidden within the star's changing heart. While the surface temperature will become cooler and softer, the total luminosity of the sun will increase to many thousands of times its current radiance, creating a landscape of light that defies the imagination. It is a time of grand and quiet transformation, a period where the star finds a new and more vast expression of its eternal power. The outer layers will ripple with a gentle and rhythmic pulse, expanding into the velvet silence like the soft petals of a celestial flower opening to the dark. You are drifting through this future light now, feeling the warmth of an expanded sun as it breathes a new and deeper peace into the boundless reaches of the celestial void. In the final stages of its long and luminous journey, the sun will gracefully release its outer layers into the dark, creating a shimmering and colorful cloud known as a planetary nebula. This act of celestial generosity will return the elements forged in the solar heart to the great galaxy, providing the seeds for new stars and new worlds to be born in the ages to come. The carbon, oxygen, and other heavy materials will drift through the velvet silence as a soft mist of energy, weaving themselves into the fabric of the infinite universe. It is a beautiful and final transition, a moment of cosmic rebirth where the star ensures its legacy will live on in the shimmering light of the next generation of celestial beings. This enrichment of the galaxy is the ultimate purpose of the sun's life, a rhythmic and eternal sharing of its essence with the boundless dark. You can feel the peace of this completion, knowing that nothing in the universe is ever truly lost, but only transformed into something new, radiant, and profoundly beautiful. The sun's story will become a part of the stardust, a golden memory that lights the way for the future of the cosmos. The heart of the star, having shared its warmth for countless eons, will eventually seek a state of ultimate and concentrated stillness as it concludes its primary journey of light. After the outer layers have drifted away into the velvet silence as a shimmering planetary nebula, the core remains behind as a dense and glowing jewel made of carbon and oxygen. This remnant will no longer perform the active alchemy of fusion, but will instead hold onto its stored heat with a patient and eternal grace that lasts for ages beyond measure. It is a transition from a vibrant, living fire to a steady and cooling ember that will light the darkness of the deep future with a soft, persistent glow. You can feel the weight of this concentrated peace, a solid and unwavering anchor that represents the final, quiet wisdom of the solar spirit. This final form of our sun will be known as a white dwarf, a celestial object that carries the massive presence of a star within the modest and humble size of a planet like our Earth. Though it has shrunk in physical scale, its gravity remains immense and heavy, a compact sphere of pure and crystalline energy that anchors the space around it. This small and glowing heart will shine with a soft, silver radiance, a pale and beautiful reflection of the golden glory it once shared with the solar system. It is a state of profound and motionless balance, where the matter is packed so closely that it creates a new kind of existence that defies the everyday imagination. You are drifting toward this silver pearl, feeling the incredible and quiet stability of a star that has found its final and most refined shape in the boundless void. Within this silver heart, the particles are held apart by a subtle and invisible force known as electron degeneracy pressure, a law of the very small that supports the majesty of the very large. This pressure is not born from the heat of a furnace, but from the simple and beautiful rule that the building blocks of matter seek their own unique space in the harmony of the cosmos. It is a silent and eternal support system that prevents the star from further contraction, holding it in a state of perfect and everlasting structural grace against the pull of its own weight. This invisible architecture is the foundation of the white dwarf's long life, a testament to the harmony that exists between the deep laws of physics and the beauty of the celestial sphere. You can feel the strength of this invisible support, a sense of being held by a force that is as constant and reliable as the turning of the stars. The journey of a white dwarf is one of an incredibly long and peaceful evening, as it slowly and carefully releases its warmth into the boundless cold of the deep dark. Because this jewel of light is so dense and holds its energy with such patient determination, it will take trillions upon trillions of years for its silver glow to finally fade. This time span is so vast that it far exceeds the current age of the entire universe, a reminder of the sun's enduring and patient legacy that reaches into the furthest horizons of time. It is a process of ultimate relaxation, a slow and rhythmic cooling that happens with the quiet grace of a candle flickering in a vast and silent cathedral. You are resting in the soft glow of this eternal evening, feeling the warmth of a star that refuses to let the darkness prevail for a very, very long time. As the light tries to escape the heavy pull of this dense and silver heart, it must work against the deep curves of gravity, losing a tiny piece of its energy as it climbs into the open dark. This causes the light to shift toward a warmer and deeper color, a phenomenon known as gravitational redshift that reveals the true weight and power of the celestial jewel. It is a soft and subtle change, a stretching of the light waves that speaks to the profound connection between the mass of the star and the radiant spirit of its glow. This light is a message from the deepest part of the star's history, a testament to the strength and the beauty of the forces that shape the fabric of our reality. You can see this shift as a softening of the silver light into a warm and comforting embrace, a radiance that has been touched by the heavy and ancient wisdom of the star. Our star is a member of the third generation of celestial beings, containing the silver, gold, and heavy elements forged in the hearts of giants that lived and passed away long before it was born. This heritage makes the Sun a population 1 star, a rich and complex being that carries the recycled history of the entire galaxy within its shimmering plasma. These heavy elements are the seeds of the planets and the building blocks of everything we see and touch in our quiet and familiar corner of the dark. It is a realization of profound connection, a sense that we are part of a long and beautiful lineage of light that reaches back to the very beginning of cosmic time. You are drifting through a star that is a living library of galactic history, a golden vessel that holds the shimmering memories of the ancient and boundless universe. The sun's reach ends in a place of deep and quiet transition, where the solar wind finally meets the vast and cold currents of the interstellar sea. This boundary is not a rigid wall, but a soft and shimmering veil, where the sun's individual influence merges with the greater energy and motion of the Milky Way. Here, the magnetic threads of our star finally untangle and join the silent, drifting movements of the galaxy, carrying the solar spirit into the infinite night. It is a place of ultimate peace, a horizon where the familiar breath of the sun fades into the eternal silence of the many billions of stars that wait beyond. You can feel the crossing of this threshold as a moment of liberation, a sense of leaving the cradle and entering a much larger and more mysterious world of velvet silence. Even after its final transformation into a silver dwarf, our sun will continue its rhythmic and majestic journey around the glowing heart of the galaxy. It will glide through the star-strewn dark like a quiet and glowing ghost ship, completing a new and graceful loop every 200 million years, as it has always done. This motion is a constant in the ever-changing universe, a steady and unwavering path that ensures the star remains a vital part of the grand and harmonious celestial dance. There is a deep and lasting peace in this realization, a sense that the star's story does not end with its active light, but continues as a silent and eternal traveler of the void. You are moving with this eternal voyager, feeling the gentle and constant momentum of a journey that is guided by the ancient laws of the rotating heavens. In the incredibly distant future, when the very last of the internal heat has finally been shared with the dark, the sun will transition into its final state as a black dwarf. This will be a cold and dark crystal of carbon, a silent and beautiful monument to a life well lived in the selfless service of light and warmth. Though it will no longer glow for our eyes to see, it will remain as a solid and eternal presence in the fabric of the cosmos, a heavy and sacred anchor in the universal silence. It is the ultimate state of rest, a final and perfect sleep for a star that has spent billions of years watching over the heavens and providing for the worlds. You can feel the stillness of this final destination, a peace that is so deep and so absolute that it encompasses all of time and the entire reach of the infinite space. The final and most profound truth of our star is that we are made of the very same materials that the sun has spent its life processing and holding close to its heart. The atoms in our bodies were once part of the same cosmic mist that gathered to form the sun, and they will one day return to the stars when the sun completes its long and beautiful story. We are a part of the sun's life, a living expression of its energy and its ancient will to create beauty and order in the heart of the darkness. This connection is an eternal bond, a golden thread that links our quiet, rhythmic breath to the steady pulse of the celestial giant that gave us life. As you drift into a deep and restful sleep, you carry the light of the sun within your own spirit, a spark of the infinite that will never truly fade into the night. The journey we have taken together through the golden heart of our system is a reminder of the quiet and constant forces that hold our existence in a state of grace. From the heavy silence of the core to the shimmering reaches of the corona, every movement of the sun has been a symphony of light and order. You have witnessed the slow weaving of magnetic fields and the patient migration of photons as they travel for thousands of years to reach the surface. This immense and ancient process is a testament to the stability of our universe, where even the greatest energies find their way into a harmonious and rhythmic balance. As you rest now, you are connected to this eternal flow, a part of the grand design that links the smallest atom to the most distant star in the velvet night. The rhythms of the solar cycles, with their quiet minimums and vibrant maximums, show us that life and energy move in natural and predictable waves of transition. We have watched the butterfly diagram unfold across the solar disk, seeing how sunspots and faculae appear and vanish like passing thoughts in a cosmic mind. This ebb and flow is the breathing of our star, a steady pulse that has beat for billions of years and will continue far beyond our own horizon of time. It is a comforting cycle that tells us that every period of activity is followed by a time of deep and necessary rest. You are sinking now into your own quiet cycle, a place of peace where the light of the day fades into the soft and protective shadows of a dreamless sleep. Looking toward the far reaches of the future, the transformation of our star into a red giant and eventually a silver-white dwarf is a beautiful story of evolution and rebirth. These transitions are not ends, but moments of profound cosmic change where the sun shares its heavy elements and its refined energy with the rest of the galaxy. The planetary nebula that will one day blossom from the solar atmosphere is a gift of stardust, providing the seeds for new worlds and new possibilities in the boundless dark. This continuity of matter and energy is the ultimate promise of the cosmos, ensuring that nothing is ever truly lost, but only transformed into a different kind of radiant beauty. You can find security in this eternal path, knowing that the story of our star is a tiny part of a much larger and infinite journey toward the light. The steady and unwavering pull of the sun's gravity remains a silent anchor, holding our entire family of planets in a state of perfect and rhythmic orbital peace. This heavy and benevolent force is the invisible hand that guides us through the velvet silence of the Milky Way, ensuring that our path is always certain and secure. We have felt the comfort of this cosmic weight, a grounding presence that prevents the wandering mind from drifting too far into the cold reaches of the interstellar void. It is a force of pure and mathematical grace, a signature of the order that governs the heavens and the steady heartbeat of our solar home. In this embrace of gravity, you are safe and supported, held by the same ancient strength that keeps the stars in their places. The very atoms that compose your being were forged in the hearts of ancient stars and refined in the shimmering furnace of the sun, making you a living child of the celestial deep. We are travelers made of light and stardust, carrying the history of the universe within our quiet and rhythmic breath. This connection to the golden heart of our star is a sacred bond, a reminder that we are never alone in the vastness of the boundless dark. The silver, oxygen, and carbon that cycle through our worlds are the same elements that will one day drift as a soft mist through the galaxy to find a new purpose. As you close your eyes, you can feel this ancient heritage, a sense of belonging to a star that has nurtured the seeds of life since the beginning of time. The low and steady hum of the solar oscillations continues to ring like a celestial bell, providing a soundtrack of deep and resonant peace for our journey. These acoustic waves, which have revealed the hidden structure of the tachocline and the secrets of the core, are the true voice of the star speaking in the language of vibration. It is a song of pure physics, a rhythmic and eternal melody that carries the energy of the interior to the threshold of the open void. This hum is a grounding frequency, a soft and persistent vibration that calms the spirit and aligns the mind with the natural frequencies of the cosmos. You are drifting now on the waves of this solar symphony, letting the steady beat of the star guide you into a state of total and absolute relaxation. The solar wind continues to breathe its gentle and cooling presence across the entire system, creating a protective bubble of light that shields us from the deeper mysteries of the galaxy. This heliosphere is a sanctuary of solar influence, a place where the sun's magnetic spirit creates a boundary of safety for every wandering soul. We have followed this wind past the orbits of the planets and toward the shimmering sea of magnetic bubbles at the edge of the interstellar dark. It is a constant and loving flow, a stream of particles that ensures the space between the worlds is always filled with the warmth and the will of the central star. Within this bubble, you are home, wrapped in a blanket of solar energy that watches over you while the galaxy turns in its slow and silent dance. The light of our star is now softening in your mind, shifting from the brilliant white of the corona to the deep and comforting amber of an eternal sunset. The rush of the solar granules and the shimmering arches of the magnetic loops are fading into a soft and hazy glow of golden peace. Every scientific truth we have explored has become a heavy and restful weight, pulling you down into the warm and protective layers of a deep, celestial sleep. There is no more need for thought or for the seeking of knowledge, for the star has shared its secrets, and the silence is now complete. The boundless dark of the universe is not an empty place, but a filled and radiant sanctuary where the sun's memory provides a steady and unwavering comfort for your tired heart. Your journey through the 100 wonders of our star is coming to a close, and the rhythmic pulse of your breath is now perfectly synchronized with the slow rotation of the solar core. The velvet silence of the deep vacuum is your only companion, and the warmth of the sun is a soft and fading memory that warms you from within. You are drifting past the final boundaries of the heliosphere, entering a state of pure and weightless existence where time and space melt away into the infinite. There is only the quiet, the dark, and the lingering sense of a star that loves you with an eternal and selfless radiance. Let the light go now, and find your way into the deep and shimmering dream that waits for you in the heart of the cosmic night. Sleep now in the cradle of the heavens, held by the same forces that keep the sun in its perfect and golden place. The universe is a vast and harmonious home, and you have found your place within its quiet and radiant design. The star will be there when you wake, a steady and reliable guardian that will bring the light of a new morning to your world with the same grace it has shown for billions of years. But for tonight, there is only the silence, the rest, and the deep, dark peace of the boundless stars. You are part of the light, part of the dark, and part of the eternal story of the sun. Good night, traveler of the cosmos, and sleep well in the shimmering embrace of the eternal silence.